Good evening. As past honorees, Bonnie and I appreciate the efforts that the North Penn community does to recognize people like tonight, folks tonight, that have contributed so much to the success of North Penn. 2 years ago, we were introduced by our good friend Ken Weir. Now it is our honor and privilege to be able to introduce Ken Weir as a Knight of Honor. Whew. We congratulate Ken and the other class of 2024. Thank you. Ken is truly a knight. He dedicated most of his adult life to this school district with a deep sense of commitment and passion. His contributions are a direct result of pride, confidence, devotion that no one can question. When we think of Ken, we think of him as an educator. Although he was only in the classroom for about a decade, he continued to utilize his teaching ability, his leadership, his influence on countless people throughout his career. A quote by Henry Adams, you might know this quote, goes like this: "A teacher affects eternity. And yes, he can never tell where his influence stops." And yes, Ken, you have inspired us and so many others, and your influence continues to bring inspiration. That influence is still present today, and we are deeply indebted to you for your innovative spirit. Ken is a pioneer and an idea man. He used his skills and knowledge to bring innovative ideas to fruition. Many of his contributions are taken for granted today, but are key to the success of North Penn as a leader and an innovator in its own right. Ken is an enabler, giving people opportunities to develop and pursue their dreams. This is so evident because he enjoyed and thrived on others' successes. Both of us are recipients of that approach, and we succeeded in our efforts and know that can enable us. We are confident that there are so many others that can say the same. Ken was and is a mentor, always supporting, encouraging, and developing others, but he was never in the spotlight. Well, tonight you can't escape that spotlight, Ken.
Ken was the glue that brought innovation to reality, never boastful, but always proud of doing what was best for North Penn, the students, the staff, and the community. For us personally, Ken began as a leader of so many efforts. Dance instructors. By the way, we can instruct after this little thing if anybody wants to learn ballroom dancing. The exchange program, the craft show, the Educational Foundation, and many more things. Ken supported us in these multiple efforts and then let us succeed on our own. He encourages, supports, works side by side, and then gives us all the ability to become successful by his caring, orchestrated influence. Those who have been touched by his influence are truly enriched. North Penn was his life, although family is extremely important to him. His wife, Carol, is an amazing support and a true educator in her own right. He is extremely proud of his daughter, Barbara, and her husband, Bruce, and their engaging 4 daughters, Julia, Carolyn, Emily, and Kate. Ken is a true friend, and so is his wife, Carol. Their genuine warmth, their engaging enthusiasm, and their keen judgment has had a profound effect on all of us. We appreciate and are deeply thankful for this amazing couple for enriching so many lives. Yes, Ken deserves this honor for his amazing contributions, but what we are all really proud of is Ken's humility, his unselfishness, and his genuine passion. For these reasons and countless others, we take this opportunity to introduce Ken Weir as a true Knight of Honor.
The first two honorees were so entertaining. I'm tempted to put my remarks aside and go off script, but I'm not sure where that would take us. So maybe I should stay with my notes. Thank you, Superintendent Todd Bauer. Thank you to other administrators and to any board members. And thank you to Christine Liberaski and her staff, especially to Virginia Higgins. My parents often told me that being proud was bad. Humility was good. Upon graduating from college, I was drafted into the Army. I spent 2 years with an MP company at the maximum security military prison at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. After that, I was eager to begin a teaching career. So I interviewed at North Penn several months before my discharge was scheduled. I was promised a job. I was a happy guy. And I was especially happy to get out of jail. During my first week in the classroom, the principal came to the door saying that the yearbook advisor had resigned. And did I want the job? I was eager to get to know everyone, and I knew that publishing the yearbook would open many doors. I soon realized that I had accepted a very big extra duty assignment. One day I asked the principal why we didn't have any exchange students. He said no one had ever suggested it. So I asked if I could explore the possibilities. We soon had a partner school in West Germany, and we exchanged our first students for the 62-63 school year. Remember, Debbie? A committee of parents helped to establish the partnership that has continued for 63 years. During those same years, I inherited the Kiwanis-sponsored Key Club. And soon we had the largest Key Club in Pennsylvania, all boys then. We had some impressive projects. The best was planting memorial trees for former students who made the supreme sacrifice in Vietnam. Kurt Deerdorf was one of our Key Club presidents in those years. Is Kurt here tonight? I think maybe he is. Thank you, Kurt. And now a shout out to Linda Law for the work she has been doing with the Co-Ed Key Club. Very impressive work indeed. After 9 years in the classroom, the school board officers told the superintendent that they wanted me to be in charge of public relations for the district. The superintendent wasn't sure about that, but the board officers were. The board was getting ready to tell the community about the new North Penn High School, and they wanted me to manage the communication. So I was fortunate to sit with the superintendent, the board, the architect, through countless late-night discussions. The board wanted to be sure this stage would accommodate a touring Broadway musical, they insisted. They wanted this to be an auditorium for the entire community. They wanted maximum seating capacity. Those board members had strong opinions, and I learned a lot listening to their reasoning. The board officers wanted me to go to seminars and workshops and bring back ideas, so I had many good learning experiences with the Pennsylvania School Public Relations Association and the National School Public Relations Association. The recently retired executive director of the National Association, Rich Began, and his wife Carolyn drove up from Washington to be here tonight. Thank you. The board officers told me to go to many workshops, and they took me to many workshops sponsored by school boards associations. I was learning faster than I could implement. As I began to think about my remarks for tonight, I thought about what gave me the most pleasure during my North Penn years. And that became a very long list. I remember welcoming candidates for key administrative positions and giving them a tour of the community. Dr. Bond was on such a tour with me, and while we were riding, I told him that North Penn needed a cheerleader. I told him we had a great school and that people needed to be told regularly. Dr. Bond was not only a fine leader, he was a super cheerleader. I liked being the MC for pep rallies back in the 60s. I really enjoyed that. And I was especially happy whenever our championship teams returned with a parade of flashing lights and sirens. And I was happy to be in charge of special events. I was happy to be able to produce publications which explained our programs and our accomplishments. Teachers, administrators, and a dedicated support staff created a culture here which is respected and valued. And I was very happy to help grow the brand. I was especially happy during the Gold Card matinees at the Spring Musical, with the auditorium filled with senior citizens. Welcoming the community into this building is something I will never forget. People were really proud of their new high school. Being able to hire Bob Gilmer and Mary Anderson Fakish and watch them develop an excellent district television effort was a goal achieved and a big leap forward. As I began my community relations job, I decided a high priority would be getting more people into the schools, more residents into their schools. Opening school facilities to community groups was coordinated in my office. Efforts to grow the number of volunteers was important. The community education classes brought in some residents who had never ever been in a public school. I wanted everyone to be proud of their schools and to see how their tax dollars were being spent. For many years, our office staff provided editorial support for all schools and district organizations. We edited, proofread, and published 20 different newsletters on a regular schedule. Our district activities calendar became a model imitated by countless school districts. Other publications won prizes. We always featured our students and their fine teachers. I became the school board secretary in 1991. I didn't take shorthand notes, but I provided the official signature for board business, and I helped to navigate some troubled times. But we emerged, North Penn strong. During the years in the district office, I was fortunate to have two excellent assistants. First, Betty Lou Moyer, and later, Gail Tatum. I enjoyed working with some mighty fine people, and some of them are here tonight. I would like them to be recognized, so maybe they'll wave their hand and say hello. Pat DeCandelo, Sandy Taylor, Eileen Peters, Eleanor Moyer, Carol Schaub, and Gail Tatum Dankert, who came from Boston today. And now special thanks to Christine Liberowski and her staff, because Christine has taken community relations to a much higher level, a fine level. Many of my students became friends of the family, especially those from the class of '63. Tom Lemon has been a special friend since he sat in my 9th grade classroom in 1959. He has become my other brother from a different mother. I remember being away from home many nights, and so tonight I thank my wife Carol, our daughter Barbara, for sharing me with North Penn. As I observe my 90th birthday in a few days, I cherish my memories. This event has been a mighty fine birthday gift. Thank you.